you have to think about proximity to your job. The last job that you had may not be anywhere close to the next job that you're going to get as far as your place of residence is concerned. Now, a lot of people don't think about that. They'll just think about getting a job, and then they'll start thinking about, well, how am I going to get to work when it snows? Because even that is a big factor. The person, got the job in the summer, but the person wasn't thinking about, now, wait a minute, it's pretty easy for me to get to work in the summer, but when the snow is coming down, I mean, you start getting all of those in-depth inches of snow, can I get to the job? Now, people who want to hire you just temporarily forever, they have that in mind once they see your address, and they say, they're not going to make it to work, They're not going to build up any seniority here. They're going to do a lot of work, and by the time I get this next project finished, I'm going to be in excellent position to fire them because they're actually just going to keep coming in. I'll tell them that I'll do the best I can to help them, but I know they're not going to be able to make it here come January when it starts snowing, and it snows in this area every January. So I know when they come in, dragging in, 2 hours late, I'm going to have to tell them that the senior foreman says, we got to let you go because you got to be here on time. You certainly can't keep coming in 2 hours late. And you've been in 2 hours late several times this month. Sometimes you've just called in and didn't come in at all. Everybody else is here. That's not the correct thing to do in regards to even your coworkers, because then they have to help carry the load. Sorry about that. Maybe you can get a job where you live or wherever, but you can't work here anymore. That's what you call thinking ahead.
And to end the show today, let's try again with a call-in we never got to with Brian yesterday. Call in and tell us if your livelihood has been affected by the weekend storm or the ongoing sub-freezing temperatures. Whose business picked up? Wine stores maybe, cannabis businesses, car washes, snow shovelers, and whose businesses suffered? Restaurants and bars maybe, brick and mortar stores? And have things adjusted as people have figured out that we're stuck with a cold and how to wrap up and get around. Maybe you own a hardware store. Is it sold out of shovels and salt? Was the event you were to cater maybe canceled? Heating oil dealers and boiler repairmen, are you too busy? Are there more discounts for theater tickets? And what does this weather mean for taxis and rideshare drivers? Is driving more stressful, but maybe more in demand? Landscapers, do you switch to snow blowing from leaf blowing? And according to NOAA records, we've had almost 14 inches of snow in New York City so far this year. That's way above the 2 or so inches in 2021, but far below the 60-plus inches of 1996. So was this enough for you and your business, or are you hoping for more snow this year? Maybe the groundhog will tell us what to expect on Monday. We're talking about how the storm and the cold snap have affected your business and your livelihoods. And here's Alexandra in Brooklyn. Hi, Alexandra. You're on WMIC.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for calling in. What you got?
Well, my business is Lavender Blues Music. It's an early enrichment program for babies and toddlers. And on Saturday, I had to cancel my class because of the cold, too cold for babies and toddlers to be outside. Mm-hmm. And today, I've had people calling in sick because, well, not sick, just calling out of class because they can't push their strollers through the streets to get to the bus or to get down the sidewalk to get to where I am.
Oh, boy. Thank you so much for your call. Here is another kid-related text. Fun local economy observation, this listener writes. In Washington Heights, our local bakery was an après sled destination with sleds lined up inside and kids warming up. Let's take another call. Kasid in Brooklyn, you're on WMIC. Hi, Kasid.
Hi, how are you doing? It's Kasid Flo from Brooklyn.
Kasid, excuse
Just want to let you know, long-time listener, first-time calling and getting through. I'm actually out in Brooklyn right now, walking the streets. So I just wanted you guys to let you know My business, actually, we do event promotions. It's called freshestfm.com. We do event promotions and hosting, music radio station. And basically this weekend we were shut down. We have a spot out in Long Island where we do an event from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's just been shut down. No traffic, no movement. So it really impacted the business. You know, everybody wants to have a good time, but I guess you can't really do that when it's snowing, you know?
Yeah.
But as long as everybody was safe, the streets haven't been plowed. I don't know what Mandani doing. I know if Bloomberg and Cuomo was there, that shit would have been fixed. Excuse me.
Kasid, thank you so much for your call. Let's go to Anthony in Brooklyn, whose business I think is unfortunately picked up. Hi, Anthony. You're on WNYC.
Hi, thank you for having me. Yeah, my business, I'm a paramedic for the fire department in New York City. It's picked up with the snow. So normally in New York City, EMS does about 5,000 calls a day now, which is substantially higher. Ever since the pandemic, we've been up in those numbers. But with the snow and everything else, I think people are calling 911 more. The cold emergencies have gone up. So we've been really busy.
Oh, boy.
And I guess I'm calling so this way we can get the message out that if you don't really need 911, if you can hold off, or if it's just a cold or something very minor, maybe wait until the snow abates a little.
Anthony, thank you so much for that tip, and I hope it does slow down for you out there. Bob and Brewster, we only have 30 seconds left for you. What you got?
Okay. My group, Old Exit 19, had a show scheduled in Mayapack for Sunday. It was a big breakout. We were supposed to have 100 people there, and we got snowed out.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry to hear that, Bob. Thank you so much for calling us, though. And let's see, maybe one more. Jeff in Katona, can you make it real fast?
Sure. Hi, this is Jeff in Katona, and I work in climate change-oriented companies, and the great news of the storm is all our calls are happening later in the day. So we've been cross-country skiing in the Pound Ridge Reservation every day, and it's been phenomenal. You feel like you're in Yellowstone National Park.
Good for skiing. Jeff, thank you so much for your call, and thank you all for your calls today. Good luck with the cold and lingering snow piles. Check on your friends, your family members, and your neighbors. I'm Amina Serna. This is the Brian Lehrer Show on WNYC.
We lose our job, we walk the street all fucking night. How you gonna come home and tell a black woman you ain't got no money?
Our final story is from the world of tech. Amazon has confirmed today that it will cut a total of 16,000 jobs. But the global giant is again in the spotlight, not just because of the layoffs, but because of an email that was never meant to be seen. Amazon has acknowledged that a draft email confirming a new round of layoffs was accidentally sent to employees. It revealed plans for further job cuts across multiple countries. The message, which was quickly withdrawn, left workers learning about redundancies before any official announcement was made. The email was written by the senior vice president at Amazon Web Services and included in a calendar invitation titled Send Project Dawn Email, a name believed to be the internal code for the latest round of layoffs. The invitation was sent by an executive assistant and reached a number of Amazon employees late on Tuesday. In the message, management referred to employees in the United States, Canada, and Costa Rica who had already been laid off. The email said the decisions were part of Amazon's ongoing company strategy.
This is a continuation of the work we've been doing for more than a year to strengthen the company by reducing layers, increasing ownership, and removing bureaucracy so that we can move faster for customers.
Well, the message was cancelled soon after it was sent, and Amazon has declined to comment further on the incident. This latest development comes after the company announced 14,000 job cuts in October last year. Reports claim that a second round of layoffs had been expected for weeks. Employees believe that Amazon had planned to cut a total of around 30,000 roles, with additional redundancies continuing through the end of May. Workers affected by the layoffs were given the option to apply for other open roles within Amazon. However, the number of available positions were limited, and those unable to move into new roles receive severance pay based on their length of service at the company. Amazon's job cuts are part of a broader trend, though, across the tech industry. Major companies including Meta, Google, Microsoft and others have laid off tens of thousands of employees. According to reports, an estimated 700,000 tech workers have lost their jobs over the past 4 years. Well, this year alone, Meta has cut several hundred positions, while Pinterest has announced around 700 job losses. Under CEO Andy Jassy, who took over after Jeff Bezos stepped down 4 years ago, Amazon has undergone multiple rounds of restructuring. The company has also introduced a more rigid work culture, including a mandatory 5-day in-office policy. So for thousands of employees, the accidental email may have come as a shock, but it confirmed what many had already feared: more layoffs and more uncertainty.
Now let's shift our attention to Germany. An intense debate is underway in Berlin. It is about how much should employees work and who gets to decide that. The ruling CDU has put up a proposal. It wants to end the legal right to part-time work. Under the proposed plan, working fewer hours would require special permissions. The supporters of this plan say it is a necessity since the country is short of skilled labor, and Germany cannot afford part-time work as a lifestyle. But critics have slammed the idea. They say this would hit women and caregivers the hardest. Here's a report.
A fierce debate is unfolding in Germany, and it is not about wages or pensions, but about time. More specifically, the legal right to work part-time. For years, part-time work has been protected under German law. Every worker had the option to reduce hours without needing approval. That may soon change, because Germany's leading ruling party wants to take that right away. The Christian Democratic Union's business wing is now pushing for a ban. They call it lifestyle part-time work. Under the proposal, anyone wanting to work fewer hours would need special permission. Only caregivers, parents, and those in training would be exempt. The argument is economic. Germany is short on skilled workers. Growth is slowing, and the CDU says the country cannot afford a workforce that voluntarily cuts back on hours. Gitta Kahneman, head of the CDU's business wing, was blunt. Those who can work more should work more, she said. She wants the party to formally adopt this position next month, making it official policy. And she is not alone. Chancellor Friedrich Merz has already criticized Germany's work culture. He dismissed ideas like a 4-day week and questioned how easily people can call in sick. But the backlash has started. Even within the CDU, the party's social wing has pushed back. Dennis Radke, one of its key voices, said the move sends the wrong message. He called it a case of putting the cart before the horse. Radke argued that part-time work is often a trap, not a lifestyle choice. He said many workers would gladly go full-time if employers were more flexible, and if childcare and elder care were better. Without those conditions, he said, restricting part-time work is unfair. Germany's powerful metalworkers union agrees. They say the issue is not performance, but poor working conditions and a lack of support for those balancing work with care duties. The numbers reveal the scale of the shift. Part-time employment in Germany rose to over 40% in late 2025. That is nearly double the rate in the UK and more than twice that of France. Of those working part-time, over 75% are women. That is not just a gender gap, it is an economic one. Last year, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development had warned Germany that its economy was suffering because women and older workers are not fully integrated into the labor market. So what happens next? The CDU motion is expected to pass at its party conference. That will turn it into official policy. But legal changes will take longer and face pushback. At the heart of this debate is a bigger question. Should governments decide who gets to work less, or should people decide for themselves? Germany's economy may need more hours, but its workers may not have more to give. And this clash between rights and recovery is far from over.
This week, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry announced diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI language, has been removed from Louisiana's civil service hiring policies. Civil rights leaders in Shreveport say the move could roll back important protections. Fox 33's Taylor Smith joins us live in Shreveport, sharing those details. Taylor?
That's right, Yalisha. The governor says that state hiring processes should remain based solely on merit, but critics warn that these changes could leave many state jobs vulnerable to discrimination. Governor Jeff Landry announced this week that diversity, equity, and inclusion, known as DEI, has been removed from Louisiana's civil service hiring policies. In a social media post, the governor said employment decisions should be based strictly on merit. Private employers aren't affected, and state and federal anti-discrimination laws remain in place. But the announcement is drawing strong reaction from leaders of the Shreveport branch of the NAACP.
We strongly condemn Governor Landry's decision to remove diversity, equity, and inclusion language from Louisiana state civil service hiring policies. This action represents a dangerous step backwards toward the hard-won protections that help ensure fair and equitable treatment for Black Louisianans and other marginalized communities for public employment.
The organization says removing DEI protections ignores the reality that access and opportunity are not always equal for everyone, and those protections exist to help level the playing field.
We know that the playing field is not even, so therefore you can't take away something that's in place pretty much for protection and to give opportunity to the marginalized people that live in the state of Louisiana. You can't take that away.
In response, the Louisiana State Civil Service Commission says the change does not eliminate anti-discrimination protections. In a statement from the commission, they say, in quote, Civil Service Rule 3.1R is no longer requiring that agencies have affirmative action plans. The change assures that the constitutional requirements of Article X and applicable federal laws regarding non-discrimination are carried out and that equal employment opportunities is provided in the state government.
The gay rights movement is changing everything.
Good morning, Samara Gill. I'm sorry, I nearly said Bellend there, but now I have. There you go. How are you?
Good morning. No, great to be here, Jeremy.
Lovely to see you. Can I just salute you? And this is one of the reasons that we wanted Samara on this show, because just to get those stories that maybe don't get the traction and then go through the roof, because this went viral yesterday. Jennifer Melle, and I sort of threw my toys out the pram. This is a lady who trained for a large number of years to become an NHS nurse. It was obviously a vocation for her. Was at the end of a long shift doing a job that doesn't pay very much and gets huge amounts of abuse. And a transgender paedophile, this is true, so a man who'd been convicted of fiddling with kids, came for treatment. She was very respectful, but she made a mistake and called him Mr. Pedo boy went nuts and called her the N-word.
Tried to hit her as well.
The most disgusting thing you can say, and tried to physically abuse her. But here's the best bit, not. For 2 years, this woman has tried to clear her name. Nobody in this government, before or after, has done... Where are you, Wes Streeter? You're a disgrace. This is outrageous. It's worse than the puberty blockers thing, and that's bad. Nobody supported this woman.
Nobody did, really, from the Labour side, and you're completely right. And Jennifer echoed that sentiment outside the hearing yesterday. She said, Wes Streeting, where are you? Please change the laws. I mean, it's egregious how they've kind of, in, again, Jennifer's words, tried to sweep this under the carpet and sort of act like it doesn't exist.
But Samara has built a relationship with Jennifer, and finally yesterday common sense won, which is great. Have a look at this report, literally 5 minutes after she discovered that she'd been cleared. Thank God.
There are great spirits over here, Jennifer. You have been exonerated. How are you feeling?
You know what? I just busted into tears and shaking. I said, thank you, Lord. This is such an incredible moment of my life and seeing that we have victory. And now we urge West Treating now to put in the policies immediately.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What do you have to say to Labour? I mean, they weren't very supportive to you throughout this entire sort of journey. What do you have to say now? At least you've triumphed and you've won. And I've got the Darlington nurses, some of them behind me as well, who were exonerated last week.
Yes, I just want to say that it's important for us to recognize that as a nation, we need to, you know, to be an example, and in leadership, especially for the members of parliament. You're there to protect and safeguard our nation. And for this, should be a learning curve for all of us.
Yeah. Jennifer, it's been 2 years of hell. Your own daughter lost her job over this. You obviously couldn't do your passion of nursing for 2 years. Is it going to be back to work after this, or is it going to be, you know, maybe a career in politics? Who knows? I mean, you're a force for change.
Well, I want to just thank God, and we take every step as it comes. But I'm glad that I'm able to go to work, and that's what is important now, you know, and just thankful that I have no case against me, and I can go back to work. And yes, and we got the victory, and this is my career, and I love my job, and I love nursing, and that's why I did my training with University of Greenwich here, and did very well ever since, and I enjoyed every moment of my nursing career.
Let's just bring this down a minute and talk about that. I love nursing. I worked all my life to get to that. And joyous scenes yesterday, but she's been through hell for 2 years. With a government and a society that wouldn't defend her against the most ludicrous, obscene, revolting accusation.
Well, you know, this case, which thankfully you put the real pressure on yesterday, totally went viral overnight. You know, we had basically every politician weighing in from the right side of things, saying how great this was. People from Susan Hall to lots of reform people, etc. So it was a kind of unifying in that way. But people are saying you're right. The process was the punishment. And I think that is the case for many of these women, also the Darlington nurses who have been through hell and back, just for basically gendering someone properly. I mean, I can't say it plainly enough. And I think that it's not fair that we live in this sort of like sycophantic world where it's almost, it's like a dark horror film to be outside a tribunal where we're celebrating a nurse who, as you said, you know, she worked all her life to be a nurse. There are many nurses that maybe don't want to be there. She's actually one that really does and loved the job. And yeah, I mean, the fact that a pedophile's rights were put above hers is really at the core of this case. And it was just, I genuinely was on a high yesterday, even myself, when I saw her coming out and getting justice. But unfortunately, there are many, many more Jennifers out there. And we're just thankful that she stuck up for us, because the next time you're at your workplace and you, maybe it's like with her, it was against her Christian values to gender this person as a female, then Jennifer and the precedent that she set will actually make sure that you also have rights in your workplace. So we just can thank her and the Darlington nurses.
Completely. And Chris in Lancashire, listen, this morning, just the nurse being suspended for 2 years will have been paid her full wage for 2 years, quite rightly. What a ridiculous waste of money, and the loss of her skills for 2 years, and we wonder why the NHS is on its backside. Can I just say, if you're listening to the show this morning and you work in the NHS and you're in a similar position or you know a story, seriously, Samara will come to you. Great work. And I just... You know, I can sit here and I can rant and I can go, this makes no sense. You know, we live in a world where it's all about diversity and opportunity. Where are the people in that instance having a go at this vile kiddie fiddler, convicted, by the way, for using the N-word and being blatantly racist? Not a sign. It's like the people who go on about women's rights and seemingly don't give a toss about teenage girls changing in a room with a man in a dress. It's so double standard. And I just want to say to you, mate, fantastic work. Thank you.
Pleasure. Honestly, it's been an honor to sort of go with Jennifer on this journey, and unfortunately there's some really low points, for her. She was crying quite a lot in the couple of interviews that I did do with her, so I think I'm just happy that she's had justice. But the Labour government, they still won't change the laws around this. That's what's actually going on.
No, they're
so
too busy giving away a Chinese embassy. Wes Streeting says Pete should bow his head in shame. This country has got everything the wrong way round. The nurse did not misgender the man. The emperor's new clothes, he is a man, albeit a pedo, says Jim. Zarina, that poor woman has been through hell because of a woke fashion. I hope this shines a light on the absurdity of our woke madness. She was polite then, and thankfully she continues to be. Every single person responding, they're just coming through saying great job as well. Samara, you're a legend. Thank you very much indeed.
They blaming the woke madness all around the world. Gus T. Renegade, worthless Negro from Virginia, in for another broadcast, hopefully to share constructive information on the global system of white supremacy. This is the C.O.W.S. Today's date, Thursday, January 29, 2026, so I have been told. I will say quickly, that segment, that was a UK news report where they were talking about Jennifer Melle, black female nurse, victim of racism. They said, Kitty Fiddler. Have you heard that before? I know I'm in the other side of the world. Cross the pond, as they say, but Kitty Fiddler? Kitty Fiddler? Is that conduit? What? People that are on that side of the world, is that in the parlance of these times as opposed to, I don't know, child rapist? Kitty Fiddler? That is real passive. I mean, I don't know if that's what he meant or not. Like I said, that might be just a common way of euphemizing things. But, I mean, Kitty Fiddler? They got Fiddler on the Roof. They got Fiddler in the Roots. Kitty Fiddler. Really, language like that, I'm not surprised Jimmy Savile was able to get away with all of that for so long. Oh, when you don't call people, Jimmy Savile is a child rapist, not a kitty fiddler. Anyway, our weekly broadcast, Neutralizing Workplace Racism, where you might have to deal with kitty fiddlers. Not for spectators, let us know. Especially if you figured out any strategies, counter-racist codification to help neutralize problems in the workplace. They try and, steal your wages, call you a nigger, accuse you of misgendering. You don't have to deal with any of that. No one calls you any names. White people, non-white people, no one calls you any names in the workplace. You are called by your correct name, spelled correctly in every email or written correspondence. You don't get any goofy racist nicknames, none of that. None of that. You are paid correctly. They don't make any snide comments on the sly about Dr. King or the pending Negro History Month. None of that. You're paid correctly, handsomely. Every pay period. Valuable member of the team. Let us know, how did you accomplish this? Can you, write down a few tidbits to share? Maybe you could help benefit some of us. Maybe we can apply them in our workplace. keep from getting fired, earn a few extra nickels, keep from being called Negro. The number 720-716-7300. The code 564943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. If you are having difficulties, problems in the workplace, you would appreciate having counter-racist suggestions, we will do our best. Use logic to try to help you solve problems without creating new problems. The number 720-716-7300. The code 564943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. The email untiljustice@gmail.com, untiljustice@gmail.com. Now, the audio segments that we heard at the beginning, I guess one for folks, depending on where you are, I hope you have been warm, safe. If you maybe you didn't have to go in, maybe you got to work remotely. I know for some schools they said, man, they don't even have snow days anymore. Now it just means we work remote. Like, oh man, I don't know how I would feel about getting snow if it means we do not get a snow day. It just means I have to be on my computer at home all day. Like, oh man. That's not you can't even sleep in because you got man. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, wow, that's not even a snow day technical. But anyway, hopefully everybody is safe, warm. I know they were talking about potential power outages in some places, so hopefully you have all of your supplies at the ready. Even some of the places where this has happened before recently, like Houston, Texas and such, saw where they were talking, Wisconsin too, they were saying, oh man, the weather might, cause the power to go out in some locales. So hopefully victims of racism have your supplies together, especially if you have younger children or health needs. Have what you need so that you can get by while things are a little chaotic, and hopefully it won't last too long. We'll get back to warmer weather as we move on into Negro History Month, February, spring standing by, hopefully. But that first segment, they were talking about all of this severe winter weather and the impact on businesses. That's something I've seen firsthand, that again, if you are a non-white person, especially if you're classified as black, and you have a business, it's not even just the system of white supremacy that you'll have to deal with, even though that'll be dominant. The weather. I played that segment at the beginning. Mr. Fuller talked in detail about the weather, even if you don't have your own business. Maybe more importantly, because if you have your own business, you can just say, oh, we're closed today, or I'm going to work remotely. You might not get to make any of those decisions if you are working for someone else. You have to ask permission, see if they'll let you work remotely. Or, just close for the day, prop your feet up, and we'll try again tomorrow. Maybe it'll be warmer, safer on the roads. Maybe not. Maybe they say you got to come in. Fuller even talked about that. He said, hey, that's something you should think about this in August when you get that job. Now, what's my commute going to look like the end of January when it's 15 degrees, snow, ice? What's my commute going to look like then? are they going to allow me to work from home? Or is it going to be oh no, you better have your hind parts in here, 8 a.m., no ifs, ands, or buts. If you got to get four-wheel drive or carpool or sleep out in the parking lot, you can do whatever you got to do, but you better be here at 8 a.m. You need to know that in August when you take the job. And I even heard Cal's listeners who said, I took exactly kind of scenario Mr. Fuller talked about, where they got a brand new job, but they got the job during the warmer months. We get out here and it's, oh man, now a job where normally, I could drive, get to work 20 minutes, which is not, too big a deal. Now, snow on the ground, it might take 2 hours to get to work. And I have seen that, it might be something where you can't even drive. You have to walk, or, all kinds of craziness because of, maybe they plow the streets. Maybe they don't. Maybe you have power. Maybe you don't. Maybe you got children, even crazier. Maybe they go to school. Maybe they don't. All kinds of difficulties, but all of that is something that you should think about in advance, so that you and even talking to people on the job, like, do you remember what it was like when it snowed last time around? Like, everybody have to pile in, and, did you all get to just work remotely, and blah, blah, blah. Ask as many questions as you can, and maybe even if now, I don't drive too well in colder weather, or I don't have snow tires, or whatever the case, or I don't have a vehicle, whatever the case may be. That might be one. Let me see if I can find some non-white people who live kind of close to where I do, so just in case, if it's bad, maybe we carpool that day. I talk to them in advance. We can figure out a safe way to do it. Maybe they know somebody that's got four-wheel drive that kind of lives in that general area, so we can all kind of pile in and drive together, minimize some of that risk. But that's something I would try and talk about in advance, so it's not hitting you as a surprise, like, oh man, what? Snow, and how are we going to get to what? Because Fuller talked about that. Indeed, that's why I said I was a little bit surprised. We had some listeners who were saying, sounded like they hadn't heard Fuller talk about the weather component. He laid that out, just like being late, call you truant. Sometimes that'll be the excuse that racists need. Get you out of here. I didn't want no niggers. Didn't want the DE policy anyway. So, oh yeah, you were 2 minutes late. I don't want to hear nothing about no snow. I shoveled my driveway. I was out there sliding, and I scraped my windshield. If I could do it, you could too. And you were late last week too. Snow then. That'll be the justification for getting rid of you. So, process all of that in advance and make that a part of the codification, and hopefully that'll be one you won't have to use too much. I can say, hey, here, Seattle, Washington, we did have a bit of that cold spell, but for the folks in like the Seattle, unless you were up in the mountains in like Washington State, we didn't get any snow. We didn't get, crazy ice and things of that nature. I mean, it was a little bit, it was certainly colder than normal, but we didn't get all that craziness in terms of weather and what have you. And we haven't had any snow this winter. We get to February, generally, we might not even get any snow this so-called winter. Climate change, which is not that unusual for here. We normally have kind of mild winter. All the rain you would like. It rained a lot today, but just not snow. Ice, that sort of thing. Very infrequent, but obviously lots of the U.S., that is not the case. So you should, think of all that in advance. Hopefully you won't have to use your winter weather code too often. And even if you do have a job, that's even something to think about too, because even if you can get to work, maybe they're closed. Does that mess up your hours? You run your own business. Oh, you heard some of the folks for WNYC said, oh man, we run a business and the roads are closed down, so we had to close. Nobody can get out. Even some of the folks who run daycare said, man, the parents, they got all that snow and ice on the sidewalk and everything. parents can't get the strollers down the street, so we couldn't even do the daycare today. That's something, like I said, white supremacy racism will be the number one obstacle, but there will be a lot of other variables that you will have to contend with in the system of white supremacy racism. And for sure, it would seem right now, the weather is one. And man, for that segment, that's New York Public Radio, when they started and they said, how has the weather impacted your business? And they had different people call in. I just said the daycare and people doing entertainment and all the rest of it. The climate change, for the fellas said they got to work remotely. Suspect that could have been a white person. I don't know. But when the young lady hosting, when she started off, and she said, how has the winter weather impacted your business? You own a cannabis dispensary, a wine shop? Those were the first two businesses that she inquired about. Not, do you sell snow shovels, salt, winter boots? None of that. Matter of fact, I remember particularly when I lived in Atlanta, which is really like Seattle, places where it does not snow very much. Although I think they did have warnings about the cold weather. It might be colder in Atlanta than Seattle right now. I have to check. Anyway, but it would be threat of snow. Oh my gosh. They didn't, sold all the milk and bread at the store. The white milk and the white bread are gone with the threat of white snow. Oh no, they said the green, the ganja, and then we're going to go get the red, or maybe they get the white wine and the Mad Dog 2020. Like, dang, that's what you, like, that's the first thing that comes to mind with snow? That does not seem like scientific, codified, prepper. Like, I don't know. Like, if you got everything else covered, you got the generator and the propane, and you got all the food and nuts in case the power goes out and everything else, medical needs and everything else, then I guess you get the Mad Dog just in case. But I mean, that should be way down. That was the first two things she mentioned. Like, anyway, I wish it would have been great. Get somebody who owns a wine shop, liquor store, cannabis dispensary. Did you get a boon in business? Like, people forget the, putting salt in the driveway and putting chains on the car. I'm going to get the wacky tobacco. Just stay in the house and puff, puff, pass. I don't even have to pass. You stay by myself. Come on. Let's see. They had the section about Amazon doing the layoffs, and I guess it was, whoops, they said the email was an accident, I guess, but they're going to do another round of massive layoffs at Amazon, and even insult to injury, the people who are keeping a job. You kiss your work from home policy goodbye. You got to come in 5 days a week. That's for the executives. If you are not going to be fired. And they didn't use the C word. I guess that's the 2025 word. They used more uncertainty as a result of all of these layoffs. And Amazon, that used to be one of those where, I'm not talking about the executive positions where you can't work from home. I'm just talking about like in the warehouses and delivery and all the rest of it. Amazon used to be one of those like, oh man, that's, I know I can get a job there. Like, oh, okay, like I can, push comes to shove, go deliver and blah, blah, blah. And, for that seeming like maybe not. That's another one, ponder on as well. Even though many folks, we've had many reports about the unsafety and racism working at some of these facilities, but dang, just removing more options and talking about what the difficulties of the job market, especially if you are just trying to begin your work career. I thought it was important as well. The report, even though that was First Post, which is Indian news outlet, but they were talking about in Germany, they are considering doing away with part-time work. Now, that's another one. I don't live in Germany. Never been. I'm not no Dr. Welsing here. Didn't get the opportunity to go to Berlin to do counter-racism studies. However, I thought what they were saying in that report was that they are short of skilled labor. I think they said that a few times in that report. And as a result of that, they need people to work longer hours. They said poo on all that 4-day work week, which has been gaining traction, got more people doing that, more being accepted in more places. I said poo on all that 4-day work week. Maybe we need the 6-day work week. Like, we're not doing all that. And see, that even sounded, we heard all that before, that Germanic efficiency. See, Fuller used to talk about that all the time. See, you're not supposed to be lazy and sitting around. You mean 4 days you can sit around and loaf, drink coffee for 3 days? What kind of white man is that? Hitler rolling over in his grave type thing. And particularly, like I said, now if all of that they're saying, part of the reasoning, or maybe a significant reason as for why this has to be the case, we have a shortage of skilled labor, and you might have to work, let's say, burn the midnight oil. You might have to work even longer days. That, to me, sounds like white genetic annihilation. I could be totally wrong. Maybe we need a Dr. Welsing 2.0 to go to Germany. Is that the case? Are they missing white people, and that's why they got a shortage of skilled labor, and so you got to have people do all this extra work in and all? Is that what it is? Judith Finlayson, she did say by 2060, 60% of the males in Europe and North America would be infertile. And I said, that's not that far away. It's 2026 now, rapidly approaching. I said, we could see that in our lifetime, you know. Is this symptoms of that? Fascinating. That's one, white genetic annihilation. Also with that report, I said, man, I don't know if they would do that here, but I would say I'm very familiar with there being policies that prohibit you having a second job. Like I said, I know police departments, sometimes it might be in the policy and procedure when you sign on for the job, because they said there might be some exceptions. That's the sort of thing I would be very alert about, because some people, their so-called second job, it might not be Uber. Their second job might be that they have a business, their own business, that they, you know, from time to time have to go and do whatever that might entail, you know, packages, mailing, meeting, travel, whatever. And so you want to find that out in advance. Do they have some sort of prohibition about having a second job? Let them know in advance, and then see if they do, see if you can get an exception. But that's one of those I've said for years. You want the policy and procedure in advance before you even take the job. That way you know everything that you are signing up for, no surprises, and then you can ask. If you see something like that, like, whoa, they say you can't have a second job. And even if your second job is working for Uber, like if that's important, that's a revenue stream, ask, do you all make exceptions? And, you know, tell them whatever, I'm a student or single parent or a victim of racism or whatever. But, you know, it is imperative that I have another income stream. I'm dedicated and will fulfill all my responsibilities here and all the rest of it, but just, you know, I'm accustomed to having multiple income streams for X reasons. Be prepared to ask, because I'm sure exceptions are made. I've seen that in my time on the planet. White people make all kinds of exceptions. So ask, and again, you at minimum, you at least want to be informed about this before you take the job. But I'd be alert about that if they start talking about that sort of thing in this part of the world, putting rules, prohibitions on people having a second job or a gig, particularly in an environment where they're constantly talking about there are not going to be jobs and the bots are taking all the jobs. They're talking about you can't have a second job. Like, can I have a first job at least? Let's see, the report on in Louisiana, they said Governor Landry, suspected racist, said we are doing away with DEI verbiage in service industry hiring. Now, I have no idea if this verbiage resulted in hordes of black people being hired for these positions over the past, 5 years or so. I seriously doubt it. We have listeners in Louisiana region. You can let me know. But I mean, I think white people, like they said in the report, white people have had rules and regulations about not being racist and meritocracy, as they said, hiring people on the basis of skill and competency, experience maybe, as opposed to we only hire white people, we don't hire niggers. They've had laws about that for like decades. I don't think having more laws or even subtracting a law or two, I just don't know how much of a big difference that's going to make. There were a lot of metaphors when they spoke with some of the NAACP officials in Louisiana. They said what they said. I would just say, in my view, workplace, that is a time where our language should begin to be precise and not lots of metaphors to articulate what's happening. They even said that some of the erasure, removal of this language of DEI, and they even said affirmative action, which made it more galling to me because they talked about affirmative action. No one, where are the white chicks at? No one, we can't go and get Kathleen Blanco. We can't, she's former governor of Louisiana, and say, hey, wait a minute. I'm an affirmative action governor. I made it all the way to be governor of Louisiana during Katrina, talking about martial law and shooting down looters in the street. What you mean you going to do away with affirmative action? I need me some affirmative action. I support affirmative action. We want more white women in charge. They didn't include none of that. Same old racist lie that you got all these unqualified black people that are just DEIing it up, right up the corporate ladder, which they know is a total lie. Maybe some gay white people, yes, they were able to get DEI. Maybe some white women, yes. Elderly white people, yes. Even the neurodivergent white people, yes, they were probably able to DEI it up and get all kinds of jobs and goodies and benefits and bonuses. Not Leroy, not Lakeisha. And then they go and have us be the first ones out mad and talk and say, hey, you got to make sure that marginalized people get opportunities. What does that even mean? They had all those metaphors in there too, but marginalized people? What? Are you talking about the red line on the side of the paper? Isn't that the margin? Marginalized people? Victims guaranteed qualified VGQ. I mean, victims of race. It's 2026. What does that even mean? Are you talking about racism? I mean, they said DEI, right? You mentioned an affirmative action and going and getting the NAACP as though this got something to do with black people. If we're talking about racism, then talk about racism, victim of racism. Now, they might snatch the microphone back, but that would be better than marginalized people. Because then, I don't know, are you talking about the anti-sex LGBTQ people? Are you talking about the neurodivergent white people? Like, who are you talking about? Be precise. 2026. Be precise. The last report across the pond, global system. Jennifer Melle, black nurse, and I thought this was important because they have a number of nursing strikes. We played the report from earlier this year, the nurses striking in New York. I saw the new mayor of NYC went down and was talking to some of the nurses and supporting their strike. You heard some of the folks in NYC saying he wasn't doing a good job of getting the snow up, Mayor Mamdani. But with all that, and then there were a different set of nurses in the U.S., unless I'm mistaken, where they also recently, like this year, also went on strike, similar requests for better work conditions. With all of that, for context, even though the situation with Jennifer Melle, they said this has been going on for about 2 years, but this is a black female nurse working her shift, dedicated, qualified, happy to be working, and she says, Mr. and he. Mr. And his response flies into a rage. She reported that he attempted to headbutt her and, of course, called her a nigger. Now, I think this is, he's a convicted pedophile. Now, I think this is important for so many reasons. One, Fuller, he says, hey, call people what they want to be called. I agree with that, co-sign on that completely. Now, if your religion, for whatever reason, you have a personal code, this person has asked me, everyone, to call them her, she, or whatever. And that violates my code. I don't even know if I would go through the trouble of explaining it to them, because that might become an ongoing conversation with them trying to convince you of why you need to do this, or you having to explain yourself 3, 4, 8, 12 times. And that's not what we're paid for. I would, because I think, unless I read the report incorrectly, that it was the compromise she thought was, I'll just call this person by their name every time, which that would work. And I think caller at the courthouse, he said they had an extensive seminar about misgendering people, and hey, you got to watch that mister and all that. And he said hey, I have to be critical about that and be precise. Yes. No, thank you. Have a good day. Thank you. No, ma'am, sir, none of that. None of that. And that way you can stick to your personal code, whatever that is, and you still, because you don't want all the conflict and everything else, and you don't call me Mr. and all that. You can still, people want to be called what they want to be called, no problem. But you still have your, and she said, this is my religion. Hey, no problem, everybody. We just had Christmas, so white people should respect the religion of white Jesus. I suspect it may have been different if she, I don't know, if she had a final call and said, I'm with the Nation of Islam, and I'm not going to call you a female because you got testicles, or you had gonads at one point, so I'm not going to call you a female. That violates what Minister Farrakhan has taught me. I don't know. This went on for 2 years. She was on paid leave for 2 years, and then it seems like it's concluded, and they're not going to prosecute her and all that. I don't know. It's difficult for me to try to or if she'd even said, hey, I read Fuller's book, and I'm an eclectic pluralist too. This seems like anti-sex, and I don't support that. What? Put that on the banned book list too. Anyway, and I just say that because many of the reports, the first word is Christian nurse, not black nurse, not victim of racism, none of that. Christian nurse. That's why I'm saying so NOI nurse, accused of misgendering. Like I could be totally wrong, but anyway, that is an important part of the story because they said it was violating her Christian faith to label this person convicted pedophile, child, kitty fiddler, as they said. It violated her Christian religion to address this person as a female. Anti-sex through and through. And Fuller would even say, what a coincidence. You have a person into all of this rape of children, and then they're promoting all this sexual confusion where, I, was a male and now I want to be a female and all this. And then rape of children at the center of all of this. A la Jimmy Savile. Correlation he's seen for many, many decades, I would submit, Mr. Fuller, anti-sex. Anyway, again, for the workplace, if you have children, I would definitely speak to them about the misgendering because that is so common. We've had Bay Area mom where she talked about being accused of the same thing. I would say especially if you're classified as black, oh man, they will get you. Again, I'm big time no joking and messing around and having fun, nicknames and that sort of thing with other people. With that, I would be very serious, be very professional for the workplace where you call people. Really, I'm all about that, Mr. Fuller, Dr. Welsing, formal way of addressing people, and just finding out, if they say, hey, I'm not Mr., I'm Mrs., call people what they want to be called. Now, if you say, well, I feel like I'm endorsing anti-sex with that, no problem. You address them by their name even if it's Fuller. Hey, Fuller. What it do, Fuller? Morning, Fuller. Have a good weekend, Fuller. Can't be a problem. Because the other folks, I would say, Mr. Fuller, but you said don't call you Mr. No problem. May I just say Fuller? That way, I'm not violating your code, and I'm not violating my own code if I say, hey, even if I'm not going to make a big announcement about this and put, posters out and tell everybody, I'm not going to support anti-sex in the workplace either. I'm not going to call you a female because you're not a female. There you go. If that's, you don't want to get into all that on the workplace or what have you, call them what they want to be called and keep it moving. And I would say if once you hear that race that you misgendered me, like I said, I would even say I call people what they want to be called. Just let me know and I'll make sure to address you in that manner from this moment forward. And keep it moving. No problem. But I would be very alert about that, especially if you think they're going to get into a rage or be violent. With things and as they are in the system of white supremacy racism, it would not surprise me if this becomes reasoning for someone getting violent. You called me a sir, and I'm not a dude. You called me a female, I'm not a girl. Now I got to bop you upside the head, but they said that he tried to, this kitty fiddler tried to headbutt Jennifer Melle, black female nurse. So, and it took 2 years. It took 2 years. They accused her of misgendering this fella. And once, I guess, news reports came out over the 2 years about what had happened, they also accused her of violating their patient confidentiality oath, for the health professionals, that she had talked about this person or revealed who they were or some of their health information or whatever the case, when that is not true. He's not been you didn't hear his name. Who was this person? I was even thinking, since they're a convicted criminal, who is this? Let's get their picture, but you're a convicted child rapist and a racist? Yeah, who is this person? Why did they get anonymity? And for those nurses who are on strike, This is why. You can multiply, take that like to the nth degree. This is why they're saying we need more money. We need more everything. This because we deal with this all day long. And what I said before, white genetic annihilation with an aging population of white people. They will need more non-white nurses for them to come and get racist and riled up and mad. You didn't change my bedpan fast enough, and you mixed up my medication, and you didn't roll me over for a sponge bath in time. You didn't change and all the rest of it. And then nigger this and nigger that, and I'm still mad about Obama. I could see a lot. That's why the nurses are on strike. And even with the nursing shortages, they got to send overseas and get someone like Jennifer Melle. Come over here. We need you in Iowa. We need you in Minnesota. That sort of thing. If I had nieces, cousins, even nephews, they have male nurses. They got a fellow in Minnesota, they said, right? Suspected racist. I would tell them, hey, this might be something to think about going into this profession. Like, be really diligent about which field, where you want to practice as a nurse, the pay, and those strikes as well. But I would connect it back. This is why they're on strike. You have to deal with this sort of racism and abuse on a regular basis for the money that they make, for the hours that they make, for all the training that you have to invest to even get into that field. This is why they're on strike. Pay me 2 cents an hour and then insult to injury, accuse me of being misgendering you, and he tried to headbutt me because you done called me mister, like I'm in color purple. Like, come on. Job well done, Miss Melle. I'm even trying to think of that like that. Like, on the one hand, I'm glad that she, the 2 years she was on paid leave, so it wasn't a financial burden, but still, like, wow. Like, what type of career interruption is that for someone who enjoys their job and you want to be at work and advance? Like, for 2 years, you just got to chill, watch Netflix, and, hope for the best? And because a child rapist said you called me mister. And then everything from that, like, man. And her daughter lost her job as well. Global system, man. What does it mean to be white? I guess that seems like another one I can take on the sly, right? Like, white people do not care about children. Anyway, the number again, 720-716-7300. The code 564-943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. I guess be on the lookout by the time the work week starts. On Monday, it'll be Black History Month, so I reckon be alert. The tackiness, we might have a full month of tackiness and lewd comments and all the rest of it. So I guess especially folks that in work environments where the people are going to be waiting, like they've been spent the past 12 months thinking of what cute racist funnies they're going to slip in over the next 4 weeks. So be prepped for that at the beginning. If the weather has calmed down and you can get back out, normal days, once they get past talking about all this, it'll be, oh yes, it'll be time for fried chicken month. Yes, Negro pride. The email untiljustice@gmail.com. Let us know if you have any suggestions. The misgendering, we've heard that one before. If we have folks with any tips, I think our caller at the courthouse was great, just talking about being precise, and that might even mean slowing down, not making assumptions about people. I think they even talked about that, not making assumptions, but that is one, like I said, I would be very mindful. I would make sure to talk to your offspring about. It is so serious. You do not want to lose a job on account of you have misgendered a white person, or even to get, some sort of write-up or what have you, where they say, oh man, that Leroy is kind of racist, or that Leroy is unprofessional. Leroy, he's not very progressive. He doesn't support the LGBTQ causes and things, You do not want to be labeled in that manner on the job. You have never heard Leroy say anything bad about any of these folks. Leroy calls people as they wish to be called every time. But if folks have any suggestions on the misgendering, and or if they're entrepreneurs, or even if you employed for someone else, but if the weather, all that cold and snow and everything, has impacted your commute, or a bit, even maybe they had to shut down for a few days. Did you get to work from home while all this is going on? Let us know if you were impacted by the weather situation as well, especially if we have any entrepreneurs, because, yeah, I could see where that might cause some troubles. Let's see. Folks who dialed in, we'll see. I don't know if folks are spectating or if they're dealing with the weather. I'll get one of our emails in, then we'll give folks a moment to see if they have suggestions or difficulties that they are dealing with. Let's see, email number 1. Got confused on my page. There we go. Okay. Email number 1. Hi, Gus, Cal's audience. Last week, I wrote that right-wing Ashley is spiraling out of control because of a complaint made from a company that I strongly believe she has a close relationship with, or at least has stepped over organizational boundaries. I believe she has told them their proposal will be accepted when the steer from company lawyers is that it must be rejected. She's going to blame you for that. Is that nigger woman messed it up? She has made several attempts to subvert the decision and cover her tracks. Last week, in a meeting, the lawyers, she stated she was concerned that the company would submit a FOIA request for our emails. The fact that she is raising this as an issue is highly suspicious. We were 15 minutes into a half-hour meeting with the lawyers, and there was a lot more to cover. Plus, we had already covered the key issues about the complaint and proposal. So, I shut down her question due to time constraints and suggested we focus on the current situation, not the potential of receiving a FOIA request. I wasn't rude. Well, that's debatable. And it's not out of the ordinary for topics to be closed down in meetings due to time constraints. I won't allow her to make me complicit in her misdeeds by bringing the issue up in a meeting where I'm present, nor do I intend to spend 5 seconds getting her out of a mess that she's caused for herself because she's insubordinate willful, and reckless. That was last Thursday. Monday, right-wing Ashley was out on training all day. Now see there? She is incompetent. What do you mean she's out? Well, I guess they could say, well, exactly, she's incompetent, so she needs to be at training. I guess they could take it that way, but I mean, really. Anyway, so she's in training all day. So Amina picked up the work needed to finalize the response letter to the complaint and proposal. There had been some email correspondence that morning with Tristan outlining what needed to happen next. He agreed to everything and suggested that we prompt Harry to get his approval once we had clarified the outstanding points. Tuesday morning, right-wing Ashley returned. Seizing the opportunity to suck up, she emailed Harry, ignoring everything else that was said in the chain, causing confusion, our C word again. I sent a follow-up email to Harry clarifying we weren't quite ready for him to review the paper we were working on. I then emailed right-wing Ashley reminding her to get my sign off before sending anything to Harry. I feel like we've gone through this like 8 billion times with the willful insubordinates that she's talked about, but like we have to tell someone over and over, can you please not contact the lawyers or the CEO or all these other people without talking to me first? Can you please, like, over and over? She's a whatever, nigga woman. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do what I want. And if you come and you talk to me too aggressive, I'm going to go and report you for misgendering me. And I'm going to tell him she came for me. Called me ma'am. You know I don't like to be called ma'am. And then we have to waste 6 months. Well, you do know she doesn't like to be called ma'am. We got to spend 6 months talking about that. Let's see. She continues. Half an hour later, he emailed me to critique an email that Amina had sent to another department. She said information was missing, so the other department may not be able to answer the question. I replied to right-wing Ashley, letting her know the email was fine. 10 minutes later, another email from right-wing Ashley. This time, she was questioning why we were even putting the question to the other department, as she didn't think it was relevant. The earlier emails to Harry and Tristan covered the reason, so her questioning the point didn't make sense and wasting time, which is really the whole point of all of this. So I replied, referring her to the paper we were working on for Harry, which includes his question about the matter we were checking with the other department. This all happened before 10:30 a.m. I had a lot of complex work to do, and she was breaking my concentration, I'm adding, which was her intention. I mean, so frequently, I think we've had a number of different white people. I think maybe her former white supervisor, the young lady writing this email, she used to do the same thing. It would be just like, it would be, and particularly, it would be times in the office when she would have really, like a lot, what she just said, a lot of complex work to do. And this is the moment where you have to send me like 15 emails about just total nonsense. Things that then, and it would be very similar to this. things we've already discussed, information you already know. It's total not, and I'm working on assignments where I have a deadline. And I think she'd even said, like this white woman before, sometimes she would waste time with these emails where she's acknowledging like, oh man, I know you got that project due in 30 minutes and I'm just wasting your time talking about food talk. Well, I guess I'll email you in 30 minutes. That type of thing. And this went on all day long. White people love to waste our time. Deliberately so. Time and energy. Deliberately so. They love to. It's a form of entertainment almost to them. She continues. Next email. Breaking concentration. So I told her that Amina had everything in hand and that she should focus on other projects. I knew she would be mad, but I couldn't care less. She's not mad, she's focused. Look here. An hour later, another email about the project I'd asked her to stop working on. Now, this is where, as a black male, I know I would not be able to get away with this, like under any circumstances. Like I couldn't pull, I got the Ebola, my thinking is off and I'm just not able to concentrate. So I just forget, what you said. Nigga, you and your Ebola, get out of here and don't come back. Like it's illness would not shield me from this sort of incompetent or willful insubordination, or a teaspoon of both. Illness would not shield me. Bad training, like neurodivergence. There's nothing I could think of where this would be tolerated. I would have been fired, or severely reprimanded. Like, what is wrong with you? We did not hire you to have to tell you the same thing 15 times, and you are wasting my time. Do not contact, oh my God, it would not be tolerated. And much less tolerated, this is encouraged. She can do this, and the other white people in the office, they embolden this behavior, her sabotaging the Negra. She continues. She had an answer to the question I'd asked Amina to put to another department. At the end, she wrote that she would now start working on the other projects, ignoring the blatant disregard of my request. The question is a technical legal matter which right-wing Ashley is not qualified to give a view on, which she knows. That's like, I thought we've gone through this before too. Man, I'm going to do whatever I want. And she might be especially motivated to be lawless in this manner. The racism, yes, this nigger woman isn't going to boss me and tell me what to do, all that. But she said about the protecting her own behind, if there was any sort of impropriety with this firm, that I guess she was, maybe trying to see if they could get this project or what, or maybe she promised them. So who knows? If she's trying to make sure she doesn't get in trouble for all of that, that might be an extra motivation for why she is behaving as such with all of this. But she continues. She says, not qualified on the legal component. She clearly used Copilot to get the answer she put forward, but deceitfully presented it as her own view. We can use Copilot, but must say so, as it's often wrong. I ignored her email, but logged her insubordination in my notes. She was mad. So mad that at 4:50, this went on all day long. That is crazy. That, I will say, is why it's so great the email correspondence, as opposed to like having people just like stop by your office or they grab you out in the hallway and things. Having all of this on email, you get the timestamps, and you get like verbatim, this is what I said. These were my exact instructions, and there's no ambiguity about, oh man, you were unprofessional. Oh man, I didn't like your tone. Oh man, you were rude in that. Nope. We can read exactly what I said. Is it cogent? Does it make sense? Would a reasonable employee, reasonable, competent employee, would they be able to read this exchange and grasp, oh, okay, this is what's expected of me. This is the deadline. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm not supposed to do. Would a reasonable, competent employee, would they be able to read this and know what's expected of them? If the answer is yes, what? We wasted a whole day? A whole day. What did white people love wasting our time? So this is at the end of the day after she's done nothing. She says, I received the following email from right wing Ashley. Hi, I wanted to follow up on an interaction in our meeting with legal. When I was asking legal a question, you said that we wouldn't spend time on it. This happened before I had finished speaking and without explanation in front of colleagues. Oh man, see, you came for me. You didn't came for me again, nigga. I love it. Let's see. I found this dismissive, particularly as the question related to a potential FOIA request from the company, which I felt was relevant given the complaint, the nature of the application, and the potential risk around FOIA, freedom of information. I think this led to me feeling a little undermined and confused about my role, and it's made me hesitant about contributing or raising issues even when they fall within my responsibilities. Is she about to cry? I'm looking for the crying emoji. Like, what? What? She said, and she had the gumption to say she feels undermined. If that ain't the snowflake calling the milk white. Undermined. She and it's chunky too. She didn't just write like a sentence. She wrote like a massive email. So she continues. She says, you've been undermining, and I don't even want to talk. I generally feel quite confident with the work and believe I'm in a good place with my knowledge, but this situation has left me questioning that and unsure about what's expected of me going forward. Now, this I would love having in writing. Now, System of White Supremacy, White People Lie, Exhibit A. White people lie. And they lie very well. Other white people co-sign on and support their deception. So, very powerful. That said, she said, I'm unsure about what's expected of me. We have about like 5,000 emails. Really, we got about 50 emails just from the day, like within like 8 hours of when she sent this raggedy email. This is what you are supposed to be working on. These are things you are not supposed to be working on. Do you see the former list? The things you are supposed to be working on. Focus here. You have been told this repeatedly without profanity or high volume. What is the problem? She'd have to break it down to me. Like, I don't know if I qualify as neurodivergence. You have to tell me, like, what is the best way to say what I just said? This is what we need you to work on. How do I need to say that for the neurodivergent so that you do not feel slighted or undermined? And I'm still in the question lane. Let's continue with the email. See, maybe she tells us how to do that. Let's see. She says she's questioning and unsure. I wanted to raise this so it's clear how it landed for me and to get clarity on expectations going forward. Then, like, man, have you read any of your emails today? She responds, below is my follow-up email to Tristan and his response from me to Tristan. Hi, Tristan. I wanted to share the email below from Right Wing Ashley with you. I am reading it as her raising concerns, and so, of course, I wanted to make sure this is handled well. This is not my experience or interpretation of the meeting, and usually I would feel comfortable to reply and say this. But given the circumstances, I think it's sensible to talk it through with you first. I'm going to write up my interpretation of what happened and share it with you, taking into account our conversation on leadership yesterday and wider concerns I raised about right-wing Ashley in general. I want to make sure I'm getting your support and steer first. Great job, man. Short, you don't have to talk all day long, and you are seeking help. What is the best way to proceed with this? And providing relevant context, because we've had this conflict for, it seems like years, but I think it only goes back to like the summertime. But still, that's like 6 months. It's almost February, you know. That's 6-7 months of this, and exactly this. Insubordinate white woman, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do what I want. And I'm going to sabotage this nigger. And then when someone says something about this, oh, man, I'm neurodivergent. Oh, man, you all are yelling at me. Oh, I'm a victim. I can't believe you yelling at a neurodivergent white woman. That's what it's been like aggressively, it seems, for 7 months. She continued, the email correspondence continues. So Tristan writes back. He says, thanks for flagging with me. Very happy to discuss the approach. It is understandably a tricky one to navigate, especially if your experience of the issue differs. I think if it was me in this situation, I'd offer right-wing Ashley the opportunity to discuss it further, being clear that it is never your intention for her to feel dismissed, but to do a bit of digging into why she felt that way. Doing that active listening is a good way of moving forward and mitigating any feelings right-wing Ashley may have in feeling dismissed. You can explain your interpretation of events, but balancing with giving right-wing Ashley room to explain is ultimately important to understand why she feels that and has raised it. Acknowledging and coming to a shared understanding of each other's points of view is a good way of moving beyond it. To create that constructive way forward, it might be helpful to link the ways of working, process, work, and understand what right-wing Ashley might want as a result of that and how you both work together. Obviously, that's open to discussion and agreement, but will allow a forum to discuss and hopefully help resolve this. Happy to chat further if helpful. Thank you, Tristan. I'd had my performance appraisal with Tristan the day before, and I'd briefed him on right-wing Ashley's disregard of my instructions excluding information from the project updates she sends him after my repeated requests for her to cover all projects, etc. He had criticized my leadership of right-wing Ashley and Amina. I'll talk about that next week, so I let him know exactly what I've been dealing with. It was quite fortuitous given the accusatory email she sent the following day. He kept trying to get me to meet with right-wing Ashley, which I thought was how some of all this began. Like, they met, and she, as a supervisor, was giving her, reviews, suggestions, tips, things that are normal, and it was all the same thing. Like, oh my gosh, this nigga woman has lost her. You don't talk to me like that. We've been doing this for months. Anyway, it continues. There's not a chance in hell that I'd meet with her on my own or via mediation. I remember that was this summer. They were trying to do the mediation. I don't give a damn about her feelings and will not be apologizing to the lying, racist heifer. I haven't responded to right-wing Ashley's email yet. I intend to do so on Monday evening, partly because I want her to sweat. It will bother her that I'm ignoring her nonsense, because I'd like her to get the message she isn't going to demand my attention, and because she wants control and is spiraling. She's trying all manner of things to undermine me and block the letter going to the company because she knows whatever it is that she has told them will be revealed. Oh, well, time will tell. We will, hopefully all will be known as soon as this letter comes through. This morning I sent Amina instructions to chase the other department as they had not responded to our question. I also asked her to review the letter to go to the company and draft an email to Harry requesting he clear it. I told her that I would review everything at 3 p.m. At 2:30 p.m., another email from right-wing Ashley about the project I'd asked her to stop working on. I do what I want. You are not the boss of me. One thing I will say, I would super appreciate all of these emails, just documentation of how many times she has been told the correct thing and in precise language. So this is not it was ambiguous and you were using a lot of mumbo jumbo Negro slang and I just couldn't figure it out. Like, no. It's been pretty precise, straightforward. This is willful insubordination. Nothing else to call it. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm gonna do the exact opposite of what you tell me to do, in fact. Do whatever I want. Boss me around. She says, so she gets another email at 2:30. Email from right-wing Ashley about the project I'd asked her to stop working on. She said she thinks we should send 2 letters separating the response to the complaint from the decision on their proposal. She gave a spurious, nonsensical reason why. She also questioned the grounds for a line in the letter stating that no further revisions of the proposal would be considered. Oh, the finality of it all. She said, oh my God. Oh. She continues, I told her that a combined letter would be fine and reminded her that Tristan had agreed to it. I reiterated what was written in the letter, specifically that the proposal is unlawful, is unlikely to be approved unless the company changes their approach, and has taken up too much of everyone's time, including theirs. I'd say these are grounds. Time and energy. It seems like just, man, this person is a time and energy vacuum from We got to go through all these meetings that you've been rude and uppity and you sassed me. And then I got to tell you 10,000 times, don't work on that. No, please don't work on that. Please don't contact, just work on that. Please stop. Man. And then it's even don't you want to do the mediation? I think it'd be helpful if you all do the mediation. I think you all should try the mediation. I could sign you up right now. Like, woo. Time. And if old right-wing Ashley put that much time and energy into like training and doing her job well, she could be such an asset for the company. Like, come on. She says, I also asked her why she is ignoring my instructions to work on other projects and reminded her that a letter on a different project needs to go out tomorrow. This is another project that she's effed up. She claimed that she had finished her other work. She took the lies out of my mouth. I said, you know that's a lie. She says, lies. That she hadn't understood that I didn't want her to work on the project anymore, and that she had a few questions she wanted to raise that she now understands I do not want her to work on it. I can't get over. I'm sorry. Is only race soldiers. It's like she said, oh, you mean like never, ever, ever work on it? I thought when you said like don't work on that project again, I thought you meant like, that's like a 2-day thing, because sometimes they'll say like don't work on something. They mean like just don't work on it for the next 5 minutes. Just take like a little break, or 2 days. You mean like don't like forever. And so like next week, next month. I mean, it's a new year. So like 2020. So like never doing it. Okay. That I see how you roll. Okay. That's. Woo! Again, there's no universe where this sort of conduct would be tolerated from dare I say, any other person classified as black. Try it if you can get away with this. Oh my God! Please get us on speed dial *61 to pretend I didn't know what you meant when you were telling me not to work on that. It's not, I didn't know. I thought time period on, She says, oh, and I got a few questions. She says, now I understand all that. I didn't say that last part, and she knows it, but I'm ignoring her. She's trying to draw me into a confrontation, and I'm not taking the bait. White people do that a lot as well. Look for ways to, and I mean, you talk about being upset, all the time that's been wasted. And I think even the days when like he's had time sensitive assignments. Our young lady who was writing this email, and this what it really is time theft. This race soldier, when those days said, oh, now I got to send you 50 emails today because I know you're working on something important. So boop, boop. Boom. Oh, I'm messing up your concentration. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to have to email you about 50 more times, though, so be prepared. They love it. So that one, I think, kudos for not being drawn into the mediation, the confrontation, any of it, really. And I think it is tremendous to be packing up the emails. They are time-stamped, dated. Like I said, you have all the information. They can see the volume of the emails, all of it. And now it's no ambiguity. We got exactly what you said. So did you curse at her? Did you call her names? with these blistering critiques and all the rest. We can read it all and see what you said. Would a reasonable person feel like, oh, okay, you got some sort of vendetta against her and you're talking down to her? Would a reasonable person feel like, oh, okay, this is a workplace arrangement and maybe you get some criticism sometimes? Certainly they tell you what you're supposed to do and not work on, right? Any hoodles. Much obliged for the detailed report. Bravo, keeping your composure in the midst of all of this, because that is a lot to deal with, and it's been going on for so long. Like, even those can be some of the worst. Like, when you have a workplace situation and it's something that ends up stretching out, lasting like 7, 8, 9 months, and we still got the same problem, same person doing the same racist antic. Like, oh man, that can really test your codification, keeping your composure. I'm not gonna curse this person. We started with all this in January, and now it's November. I'm still not gonna curse this person out. Sticking to my and minimizing the words. This is even great too, because so much of this is email, so you don't have a whole lot of, them being in your face and get your finger out of my face. Who do you think? A lot of that is minimized because we're just email. You generally email, you get a little bit more time. You can take a few breaths. Like, I cannot believe what this heifer said. See, and then you take a few 8, 10 more breaths. Okay, channel my Dr. Welsing, and you can even take time. She said so. Sometimes I don't even respond to these emails. Next, she'll write again in an hour, or whatever the case may be. Or if I do need to respond, I can take my time. I don't have to rattle it off in 30 seconds and my fingers are flying over you. Who do you think you're talking to? Nope. I can take my time and really be precise about what I'm going to say, and hopefully say less. She sends a big massive email. Say less. I got a few sentences. Any hoodles. Wow, that is so much. I guess let us know how things evolve. If you all get the contents of what she was doing, the shenanigans, if she gets in trouble for all of that, if there's some sort of malfeasance, give us the update for how that goes down. But great job keeping your composure, which is always number one. Counter racism in the workplace and beyond. The number again, 720-716-7300. The code 564943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. The email untiljustice@gmail.com. untiljustice@gmail.com. Let us see. Folks who dialed in with a hand up, if you have commentary to share, proceed. Let's see. Bay Area Mom should be with us. Proceed. See, not hearing you. Not sure if you are muted or.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, greetings to you. Thank you for taking my call, and greetings to everyone else on the line. Oh, that right-wing Ashley. She's doing it on. I know. I just want to comment on that email. She's doing it on purpose. She all the stuff that she does, she's doing it on purpose. She's resisting the assignment that she's told to do on purpose. She's picking at the person that sent the email on purpose. She's doing all this on purpose. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's playing all these games, and she's very mad that she has to answer to the person that wrote the email in the first place. And then to make her, just to keep looping her, okay, well, maybe you guys should talk, maybe you guys should talk. I don't know. It's just interesting. So I'm waiting on the rest for next week, because there's something else that she's, or whomever wrote the email, is going to add next week. So, yeah, that right, really nicely. She's doing it on purpose, little pepper. Let's see. Yeah, I think, okay, I'll jump into workplace racism. So, oh, goodness. I have a pet peeve with people that don't come to work. I know I have a lot of nerves, but I come to work every day. It's rare that I take off work. I didn't even use all my sick hours. The school that I work at, we have a lot of traumatized black children. So I put a lot of effort in what I do, because they're children like me. You know, they look like me. They're like me. They need help. They don't need people just coming there, collecting a check. They act like it's so hard dealing with these children, but these children have trauma-based issues, and there's no one necessarily equipped to deal with that trauma that are helping them. Everyone's so frustrated. Everyone's angry just coming in at 7:30 in the morning. Everyone's so angry, like they're doing work furlough. It's not work furlough. You don't have to be there. So that's where I'm at. So the young man that's almost 200 pounds, he wasn't there today, and he won't be there tomorrow, but he was there yesterday. He's peeing through all his clothes these days. His mom said he has a rash because he's not being changed consistently. But keep in mind, it's a fight to change him, even yesterday with me changing him. Because it seems like I'm the only one that knows how to change, me and this other wonderful young man that works there as well. He's around my son's age, but he does it, so they're not just calling me. Oh, Lillian, could you come change the boy? So they're not just calling me. So there's two people that are from an agency, young ladies. Well, no idea. So one lady, well, I don't know, one person wants to be called teacher so-and-so. The other one that looks more like it's so confusing. You just don't know what these people want. So I try not to even have too much talking, so I don't even have to call your audio, Ms., Mr., teacher. I don't even have to do all that. And I kind of pulled back, too, with all unnecessary conversation, because I saw how we did the little TK teacher, because one of these people that are going by maybe teacher so-and-so that just sits in the room and watches the young man, she's trying to date the other young man that helps me change the boy. But we don't want to be treated like a girl or called a girl, but I think you're cute, and it's such a circus. So he's pulled completely back the little young man. So to bring it back to the teacher that got this in his report, it was written in his file that he had this encounter with this young lady. The same teacher has to leave the room when she comes into the classroom after school, if she comes. He has to immediately leave. To put him a little more context to that, I'm sure he found her attractive because she charades as a woman, but then when it gets too uncomfortable, she's not anymore. She's just one of the guys. This gentleman, like I said, he has this white woman that he just married that he met at a school. So this white woman that he married in the summer, or, when school started back for us, she worked at a school too. So, he pulled his best shot with her too. And it looks like his nephews and things like that, they have white parents as well. So it looks like it's something that's common for them. Maybe they don't, I don't know what makes people, not desire their own people. And it's fine, I'm not upset. But he came to me today and said, thank you for talking to me, because I had to tell him, hold your head up. Hold your head up. Stop being so friendly. Do what you came here to do. Because the children need him. What he brings to that classroom, they need. And it is the black male structure, because we don't have that. There are no stern males. The PE teacher, he's a nice, strong male, and they hummed him up. Hey, you're too loud, your voice. Oh, my God, scaring the kids. These are the same kids that cuss you out, stab you, all this stuff. These are the same kids. But his voice, his authoritative tone is frightening. But they yell, the ladies yell, ah! Even the guy that's a lady, but when it's particular tones, we don't want to hear it. So he's not down anymore. He's up. He comes to the meetings now. Maybe he did need somebody to just not shun him and treat. My daddy's gonna grab your pearls. No, it's not like that. And I'm not saying he wasn't trying to talk to. I don't know what was going on. I don't know. I wasn't there, right? But so with that, we just try to make sure that she's not, as much as possible, not make sure that he doesn't have to be moved around. But this person said both of them were people that roam around with the 8-year-old child, don't want to do anything but work with that 8-year-old child. And they stated that if they would work there permanently if they could just be with that one kid. But if they can't be with that one kid, for instance, the kid's not there today, the person didn't come. Neither one of those people came because they don't want to work in other spaces, because working with him, they say, is chill. So chill is you don't have to do any work, because the little boy doesn't work. All he does is sit and eat his awful snacks, roam around the school. He'll fight you if you don't allow him to do what he wants, and you don't even have to change him. All you're really doing is holding sparring pads all day when you're roaming around with him and just sitting in his large room talking about foolishness while he's engaged on his iPad. And that's chill. So they like that because there's no real work. There's other services that come in and out, so they really don't have to do anything but just be there. Because all the hard labor is someone else's task. Even when he attacks them, someone is going to come and help. So they can't even protect themselves from him. So a lot of people just stop coming to work or just call off for ridiculous reasons just so they don't have to deal with the kids. As I stated before, our reading level, we haven't even reached 50% proficiency. Still, all of our leaders are not black. And then there's one lady, she's an assistant principal, but she doesn't really have any say or any, she just does, you just got to go do this, go watch this, go do this. It's not a lot of, there's no change for the children. There's no change with the adults to help the children. I may or may not have spoken of a young man who's in 5th grade now that carries this, he's carried this luggage. He's been there at the school since either TK or K. He's in 5th grade now, so they transitioned to the middle part, and at the middle part, they could care less about these kids. So they treat this little boy. He's basically kicked out of the school. I saw him yesterday. I didn't see him today, but he just came back from a 10-day suspension yesterday. So I saw him, and everybody just treats him like he's some kind of killer or something. Just the way they treat it is ridiculous. And this is the one. Yeah, so this is the one that I was saying that the people, he had some kind of support. People were trying to stand up for him and say, he's been through so much trauma, and they were trying to fight for him. And one of the principals at the other school said something to the staff at the lower school, like, you didn't have to defend his mother. You didn't have to do all that for his mother. It's exactly because it's as if everybody's supposed to be against the mother and the child, so the child doesn't get help, so you can just get rid of them and keep kicking the rest of the kids around like cans. So, just abusing and mistreating the other children, and just neglect, and then undereducate them. So this boy, he knows how to read and all this stuff, so he's not coming there below average. He just has trauma. He has all kind of trauma. And we're acting like we don't deal with, there's not special day classes in there. You have to have patience dealing with children that have special needs. What is going on? So I saw him, I was like, hey, so-and-so. He looked at me, he's a little grumpy little guy. He's funny. He's so cute. He's only 10. So he looked, and he gave me a hug. And I was like, oh, honey. And these white people looking like, so the whole school that found out that the boy gave me a hug because who's this nigga? He's hugging. No, don't care. No, he's cared about. And I can't believe you guys are treating these kids like this. And now you're kicking them out of the school. So they're undereducated and just kicking them around. There's another little girl there. Another little girl I was talking about that I said probably was sexually assaulted somewhere along the line, and she was walking. There was a fire. And she was walking down the street, house caught on fire, no shoes on, that kind of stuff. All kind of stuff. So these are our children. So they suspended the little girl yesterday. She just came back from a suspension yesterday, and they suspended the little girl. So we allegedly take pride in no suspensions, but we suspend certain children, and we suspend them all the way until we can get rid of them. And in June, she graduates and she goes God knows where anyway. So it's like they're waiting on June, but if they can suspend her enough time, they can get her out of there. I don't know. And it's not just this school, but since I'm at this school, this is my critique of the treatment of the children. And the adults still get paid. They're still able to pay their rent. They're able to live their life depressed and all that stuff. But they're not assisting with the development of the children that they're getting paid to work with. It's just like they're just babysitting. And frustrated about this babysitting. They complain about the pay, but it was the same pay. It wasn't surprise pay. In that interview, you were fine. But as soon as you get to, I'm not doing all that. Nah. No. Get moving. Let's do this. My knees hurt and stuff. You think I'm calling off sick? I was under the weather a couple of weeks ago. And if I would have wasn't able to maintain, I would have called off. But no. If I can maintain, I'm going. I got to do my stuff. Because I've learned that when I call off, some of my children are going to school. So I don't need that if I can prevent it. So I don't know. It's just interesting what's going on, the direction that they're shifting the children, and what will school look like in 10 years, especially if you've dumbed down the kids. The kids they don't know anything. They don't have patience. They can sit for 5 minutes. So thank you for taking my call. I will mute my line. And that's it.
Man, glad you at least sound a little bit better from a couple weeks ago. Flu was making it rough in California. Maybe still is. Much obliged, Bay Area mom. She said the one she put in her, I guess, stance on attendance and showing up. They say the most important ability is availability, especially for educators. And even what I just said, she was not feeling well. You could hear it in her voice a couple weeks back, even last week. But she said back then even, not calling out these children, black children, victims of racism. If I don't show up, they don't get services. What they would say, hey, keep the peace. Let him sleep. So they put that on T-shirts and everything. So she said, oh, no, I show up. I'm going to help these kids. That's why I'm here. Help these children. That's why I'm here. So she said, man, like these folks that I work with, for a lot of them, when they come in, they don't even have a correct attitude anyway, upset about being here. And I had said that before, like to work with this population of students where they have needs and you have no patience and they don't even have a plan. Like, unless, hey, keep the peace, let him sleep, unless that's the plan. But I mean, if that is the case, like, wow, you could have got Mark Furman, GED. He could have taught the class. Like, you don't need no master's in education or nothing else if that's the plan for what we do. And I mean, it's just, man, no patience, no plan, no nothing. We are not vested in these children at all. But even if we show up mad, 7 o'clock, I'm tired, sleepy, wish I was still in my pajamas. She said frustrated about all that, and then no patience about any of this. Why did you even take this job? Question I've asked repeatedly when she's been talking to us. Why did you take this job? To help these children? That's not why you took this job. Can't be. Acting the way you do? Can't be. She said they'll call out from work over anything, I think, especially if you work with children. Especially, like, it'd be if you work in McDonald's and call out, like, whatever. People will still get their chicken nuggets. But you teach black children, you can't just be calling out willy-nilly. I got a hangnail. I can't, I can't do it today. I got to nurse my fingernail. Like, come on, man. She said the difference in being a privileged black male educator in the school building where the black fella who they had accused of, I guess, what shall we say, sexual improprieties with another educator, that his head was all down and he wasn't chipper and hanging out and doing the reading program anymore. And she said, hey, even the black PE instructor, they might let us, teach the dodgeball class. Maybe. But the black PE instructor, privileged black male, said, I guess he was telling her, you grab the ball and go to shh. You're too loud, Leroy. Shh. Made Leroy be quiet. Then the young black fella everybody was trying to date made him be quiet too. She even said, hey, I don't know what the accusations are. Maybe he did it. Maybe he didn't. I just know the end result. Now we got another black male who has been shh. Black self-respect, at least trying to encourage him to not be totally defeated about all of this. And hey, even no dating in the workplace, maybe no flirting, no nothing. Let's keep it totally professional and about these children, because man, it can get crazy, accusatory so quickly. Let's see. She said that at their school, and I think that was a part of the anxiety she told us about previously, where some of the students, or a lot of the students maybe, feel some type of way about going to the middle school, like, ooh, we haven't been adequately prepared, and I can barely read, and oh, it's going to be terrible, we've been set up to fail. She said, hey, man, we got children reading below 50% proficiency level. I mean, that's a crisis. That should be, mega, what we going to do? The same thing I just said. Do we have a plan to improve this? No, we still with the keep the peace. Let them, okay. To which end she said the black fella, I guess the obese little fella, maybe they'll all look like him. Maybe that's school 10 years from now, because they already said the incidence of childhood obesity continues to rise and childhood hypertension. So maybe there'll be a lot more students that look like him in 10 years. She said, I guess the little fella with the weight issues didn't come to school today. They had different black male who everyone was, oh my God, Leroy Jr. is the worst. He's Charles Manson Negro style, and oh, he's going to kill us all. We got to run. And she said he came in and she recognized him. I guess he looked like the staff. He's mad too. Like, I don't want to be here neither. I don't blame him. And she says, she sums it, oh man, there's little Leroy Jr. and you come give me a hug. And she said it stunned the whole building. What's going on? She hugged Leroy Jr. Oh my God. She lived to tell about it. He didn't rape her either. Oh my God. I was thinking that someone was about to come out and clock him upside the head with a nigger knocker. Like, you get your hands off her. You don't touch nobody. We don't give out hugs. You go to class right now. Because I feel like she had told us it had been that sort of exchange before. Like, we don't do no hugs. We don't do no side hugs. We don't do no fist bumps. We don't do no handshakes. Like, you keep your mitts to yourself. I'm going to keep my eye on you. Now beat it. Get out in the hallway. Like, that's kind of what I was expecting. Now, maybe they're going to do all the rest of that later too. But she said it was just, oh my God. Is that his aunt? Are they related? Oh my, they all look alike. Oh my God. She actually hugged little Leroy Jr. He's got a razor in his back pocket. Shot 5 people on the way to school this morning. Oh my Lord, we all gonna die, and she done hugged on him. What in the weather? Even when she was talking about everybody was afraid and killer and all that, I think, oh, maybe they got a 17-year-old that, because she said they got the 50% proficiency levels with the reading. So maybe they got some 17-year-olds. They got held back and 4 or 5 times, and so they're huge. She already told us we got the little fella, he almost 200 pounds. Maybe they got a 17-year-old who is also almost 200 pounds, but he got a little bit more muscle mass, and so he get mad, and you give him a test and tell him he didn't pass, and we could bust you upside the head. That's not what she said. It sounded like a little age-appropriate elementary school child. 10, she said. I haven't seen too many 10-year-olds. Oh my God, little Timothy gonna kill us, run! What? Now, Reb and vodka notwithstanding, and even with them, they weren't 10. They were 17. They were about to graduate high school. Like, we talk about people, they not even in middle school yet. They said they were scared to even go there. Like, 10? I've seen a whole lot of 10-year-olds, like, they're not even 100 pounds. Like, you should be able to get, like, sack of fruit by the foot and tell them, shut up and sit down. I mean, who is 10? Unless he got a weapon and for real got that straight razor in his back pocket and a ghost gun or 5, you're going to have to get more than a 10-year-old to have me run and hide in the closet. Like, he's going to have a few pipe bombs probably for all that. I mean, and that's just another version of what I just said. Why did you take this job? Your plan is, oh no, Leroy, run! We got, so the options are, let him sleep. Excuse me, keep the peace, let him sleep, run is Leroy. I see why we got less than 50% reading proficiency rate. That's disgraceful. That right there, You should think about all that before you have children. But wow, what a disgrace through and through. And even I would just have that every day. Why are you all here? I know why I'm here, talking about Bay Area mom. Why are you all here? Are you all like reveling in all of this and seeing all these black children fail school year after school year? Like, is that, that's why you're here? Why, like specifically, why are you here? Make sure the system works correctly? Pay off your student debt? Why are you here? They got a lot of jobs in California. Y'all could do a whole lot. You came here? Teach class at a public school? Like, what? Anywho, much obliged, Bay Area mom, and kudos for all of the hard work with the little people, black children, throwaway children out in the Bay Area, where they're already treating them like killers and little Charles Mansons to be thrown away. Kudos for working diligently with them, sacrificing a lot, even your own health. Take excellent care of yourself too, though. Let's see. The number again, 720-716-7300. The code 564-943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. The email untiljustice@gmail.com. Let us know if you have thoughts, observations, counter-racist suggestions. We should be here Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Installment number 4, Shar Adams, Black-Owned, The Revolutionary Life of the Black Bookstore. We are, I guess by tomorrow, we'll be about halfway through the text. And incidentally, that book is quite a bit about workplace racism, all of the black entrepreneurs, bookstore owners, and all of the racism that they experience. It's like 200 years of that. Black people trying to open up bookstores and such. And what sometimes it'll be the police, FBI, random race soldiers, and they come harass your customers, come harass you. What are you doing trying to sell books to black people for anyway? And you all got to be up to no good and all the rest of it. So lots of great information. Black owned on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Even Waiting to Exhale popped up in there, and The Color Purple. Like, it has been a hoot, and we have quite a bit more to go. But that is tomorrow, The Revolutionary Life of the Black Bookstore. And then we'll be here on Saturday, where we should have a guest. Slight switch up from our normal compensatory call-in. We try to review what has taken place over the last 7 days, which I do think is important. We'll still make space to do, but stealing a little bit of time for a white guest on the last Saturday of January 2026, but that'll be same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's it. We'll give folks maybe 5 minutes, see if they have other observations, comments, counter-racist suggestions to share. Be sure to invest. If you think the C.O.W.S is constructive, hit the blog racism-notes.blogspot.com. racism-notes.blogspot.com. PayPal button in the top right corner. You'll see the links beneath the button for PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. Huge thanks to all of the investors who have kept us on the air for 17 years, hopefully worthy of your time and energy. And then you'll see the link for the Amazon wish list as well. I don't know if that will help anyone keep from being laid off. Probably not, but still, you'll see the link. My wish list is under Gus T. Renegade. Much obliged for all the folks who have nabbed an item or 3 over all these years. Again, hopefully the C.O.W.S continues to be worthy of your time and energy. I will also say again, make sure workplace safety, that is relevant to almost everything you could talk about in the workplace. With the weather, especially the way it is right now, that might be your black self-respect. And in many forms, make sure, speak up if there is a safety issue. Still asking questions, but man, sometimes the plantation is unsafe. Frequently on the job, where it's at least supposed to be a pretense of, yes, we will keep safe everybody while we get these cotton balls together and everything else. Frequently that is not the case, most importantly because the plantation isn't safe. So, but man, do your best, use your voice, ask questions. Everyone should be behind workplace safety on the job and making sure that all the employees get home with all their fingers, toes intact, same as they arrived. But I was going to say that you would be surprised. Hopefully you are not surprised. You will not be surprised, but that is very common, a total disregard for a company having total disregard for the employees, folks who are responsible for them making the money. Very painfully common, excuse the pun. Let's see. Folks, I don't know if they're spectating, if folks are not being terrorized in the new year 2026. Definitely make sure that you take detailed, organized notes to share. Certainly with us, other folks, your offspring, victims of racism in general. If you figure out some strategies that work to neutralize white people trying to mess you over on your job, share. We need more of that. Hopefully have a few more non-white people who can successfully solve some of their problems, stay employed, the job market and things the way that they are. If you have a job that is reasonably decent, see if you could hold on to it as long as possible, at least until you feel like, hey, all right, I've got something that's going to be way better and I've double, triple checked it. I know this is legit. Let's see. Folks might be spectating, or hopefully a sign of having listeners who are not being terrorized on the job, and they are getting their list of suggestions for us together so we can emulate a little bit of their, what shall I say, workplace comforts, we'll call them. Let's see. Person who dialed in, last 4 digits 5962. Did you have commentary to share, suggestions to offer? 5962 should be with us.
Yes, can I be heard?
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to touch on what I heard about the tech industry, Amazon laying off all of those people. It just seems like weekly, if not daily, there's a lot of layoffs while they're trying to battle this AI that's going on. And it just reminds me that as I finish up my degree in tech, that I need to really hone in on my skills on keeping up with the AI. This is, for my own workplace racism, this is the first year, and I'd say about 3 years, because of the Secretary of Defense rolling back DEI initiatives, that I will not be looked to to put on any kind of African American History Month display or anything of that nature. So I'm looking forward to not having to put forth that energy because very few people participate in that. And so just looking forward to that and not having to put forth all that time and energy to something that people aren't going to participate in anyways. And that's all I had to share. Thanks.
I don't know. Is that a win for the no DEI? Because, man, we talked about that, the Black History Month looming and everything for February, that, man, I do not encourage folks, if they have any sort of projects or, hey, Leroy, we get video you want to put together and show off all of your Negro pride. And no, thank you. Man, I appreciate you considering me for this. No, thank you. Even if it's black people asking, we want you to participate, and you have so much to offer and so much to teach and to showcase about all the wonderful things of African Americans and your aunt. No, thank you. And he said it seems the folks there, they don't even want all that, because he said they don't participate in all the rest of it, so we don't even need it. It's been my experience. I have never seen any of these types of events or projects where I've been like, wow, that was great. That was so One, skip all that. I've never seen one of these events where we got a raise as a result of we went and attended this and we learned about the peanut and George Washington Carver and all the rest. Never. So I would rather not do it. Like, yeah, that seems like another one we're going to waste time and maybe see if we can get some material for racist jokes and slip a little bit of Chris Rock's routine in there. Like, no, thank you. If the DEI removal got us out of even being asked so we can fast forward, hey, win for the DEI removal. We'll take one on that one. In terms of, he said, getting the degree in kind of the tech field and seeing, oh man, they got this swarm of layoffs, as he said, no hyperbole, seemingly every week we got a fresh round of layoffs and more companies talking about it. Yes, it would be quite ominous if I'm, starting out in this field or looking to switch things up and join this field. Wow. I guess, yes, be exemplary. You do not want to be mediocre if you're going into tech. So study well, sir. And then learning for, like when Fuller says still learning, wow, like that would seem like I'm going to need all of the updates because the technology and the learning is occurring at such a rapid rate. Like, man, I just have to embrace it enthusiastically. I am learning for life so that I can keep up to date with all of this and get trainings and all of that, and maybe even develop networks and other folks so that we share what's the latest information. Oh, they've been working on this and that sort of thing. Because, yeah, that seems like something where you could end up being obsolete very quickly if you are not kind of keeping pace with all of the updates. Let's see. Other folks, kudos on getting out of the Negro History Month project, we'll say, though. Bravo. I'm no fan of those. Let's see. Other folks who dialed in, the number 720-716-7300, the code 564943, pound, press star 61 if you would like to participate. Let's see, other folks who dialed in with a hand up, line should be open. Proceed.
Can I be heard?
Be in Santa Rosa. Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing? I want to give like a really huge shout out to the cows, man, because I had a situation this week, and if it wasn't for the cows, man, I could have fell for it. Well, I was delivering to Safeway, and I had a really, really big load, a whole bunch of stuff for him. And one of the guys who was delivering with another truck from a different company, he saw all the stuff I had. He was like, "Oh man, it looks like you're gonna have a tough time and all this and all that." It was the white guy, and I was like, "Yeah, man, once I get past this, it'll be fine." And he was like, "Oh man, I feel bad for you." And I was like, "Man, it's all right, no biggie." So I started unloading the stuff, loading stuff up onto a pallet. And he comes by, taps me on the shoulder, and said, "Hey man, looks like you're gonna have a long, rough day. I left something for you." And I was like, "You left something for me?" Like, "What are you leaving?" I was like, "All right, whatever." He was like, "Now I left it on your steps." I said, "All right, cool." So I get done unloading. I forget about it. I walk to my steps. This man left me 2 bags of potato chips on my stairs. One of them was Lay's Applewood barbecue, and the other one was just, I think, a regular honey smoked barbecue. So I picked them up, and I was like, "Barbecue? Why would he give me the cows?" So I was like, "All right, well, the cows popped in my head." And I was like, "All right, so this white man gave me some chips." And I was like, "Hey, let me see the expiration date on these joints." Flipped them over. Expired last year, November, both of them. I was like, man, if it wasn't for that episode of the cows that, I don't know if it came out like last year or 2 years ago, but something in my head when white dude, barbecue chips, free stuff, I was like, don't add up. But shout out to the cows, because if it wasn't for y'all, I probably would have ate them chips and got sick. Thank you.
Man, I say about, I don't think I can quite say that I say it once a week, but I definitely think I say about once a month, at least once a month. No eating in the workplace. Now, he was out delivering, so that's his work environment. I say all the time. I can't say every week. Maybe I should, but I know I do at least once a month. I say, man, you do not want to be no Pavlov's dog in the workplace where white people, I say all the time, I say even it can be other non-white people where they come and, "Oh, we got chips, got a little biscuit here. Oh, we got some," what my brother said at the quarter, he said, "We got a pack of 1-month-old peanuts, half eaten. Oh, here you go." And they throw them out, and "Oh, you got peanuts for me? Oh my goodness, oh, he left some chips for me. Oh," I said consistently, I know the system of white supremacy, racism, delectable Negro. I know there are victims who, like, legitimately, they call it food insecurity and all the rest of it, for sure. If you have a job, presumably, you have enough coins, you can eat. Under those circumstances, nah, man, like, you are not looking for we want to minimize the opportunities that white people have to poison us. We did read about Michael Swango, and as a matter of fact, I told her he was poisoning his coworkers. He was poisoning his white coworkers and doing the same thing. "Oh man, I made some spicy chicken," and that's what he said too. "I made some spicy chicken. You want some?" Everybody in there got botulism and Ebola and everything else. Then he just kept doing the same thing. Went down the road. "Hey y'all, I got some donuts. Everybody wants some donuts?" Same thing. Everybody in there got 2nd-degree Ebola and all the rest of it. 7-Up. He took the 7-Up drink. Hey, Phil, you thirsty? I got a 7-Up. Here you go. Phil said, what's going on here? Did you pee in my drink? What's going on here? He had to go to the hospital too. I said then, hey, no eating on the job, even if you are struggling. I ain't got no nickels and all the rest of it. Peanut butter sandwich. Take a bag lunch. You do not need to be, oh man, I hope Phil got some left over from home he can bring. I hope he got a few extra tater chips. No, man. No, and even that situation, that is so out of this world, tacky and racist. If I see somebody, he's at work. It didn't sound like he was bothering. He certainly didn't sound like he had a coin. He done stole the Salvation Army bucket from last month outside. You got nickels so I can go get some smokes? You got extra? I'm working. I'm gainfully employed. I'm delivering my load here, hoping that I don't get robbed while I'm trying to get things off. He's going to come the same thing I just said, too. Wasting time. Why are you even talking to me? Go do your shopping or practice racism or whatever. Hey, brother. Oh, man. You working so hard, brother. Oh, man. I can't believe it. Oh, man. That's one of those where I say in the workplace.
He did call me brother, too. He did call me brother, too. You know what? That sent a shock up my spine a little bit when he said it, too. He said, oh, brother. I was like, oh, man, brother. I ain't your brother. And on top of that, honey barbecue, applewood barbecue chips. As soon as I saw the apple barbecue chips on my steps, instantly, Negro and barbecue, potato chips. There's some racist shit.
And it's on the steps too. It's on the if it was really on the up and up, hey, he's out working, I guess during the pandemic, they would say, oh man, he's an essential worker and making sure we got supplies so I can go get 15 barrels of toilet paper at the store and everything. Right on, black brother. Hey man, let me hook you up. Even if it's something small, hey, it's not a steak or, a whole 5 pounds of Brussels sprouts, but it's the least I can do. Here's a little snack. I could give it to you. Why is it on the steps? That's almost like I'm gonna just go throw it on the ground. I could at least just, here you go, black brother. I got you a little snack, whatever, so you can stay fueled up on your run, man. Thank you for all your hard work, black brother. Get out there, stay safe. Oh, now it's still same thing I just said. I'm not eating none of this because Mike Swango was slick too, so I'm still not eating it. But hey. Okay, or, hey, go get it yourself. I got you, brother. Here's $5, whatever it is. Go in there, grab whatever. Okay, now then, maybe because I grabbed it, but that's not what he did. He threw it on the steps. And then to find out they expired in November. I just said Monday is Groundhog's Day. Wait a minute. Dick Gregory, in fact, he did a whole report where he was talking about that was like standard operating procedure, where there was a whole lawsuit about this where white people would go to the grocery store and they would get old soda pop or whatever, and they would just go and take it back to the factory and take the wrapper off, put a brand new wrapper on it, and take it over to where the black people live at. Come on. That's about the same thing. Where did you get expired potato chips from to just on cue? Most of the time I dare anybody listening, go to the grocery store and see if you can get a bag, not just they expired this week, they're going to expire tomorrow. No. They expired last year. See if you can find not 2 bags of potato chips that expired last year or 3 months ago. See if you can find them. That's the sort of thing I had these in my car. I've been rolling around with trash, debris, or I was ready to get me a Negro, and there's my Negro. Got my chips. Hey, black brother, I'm gonna leave you something, and there you go. I done got Leroy. I've been saving them chips for 3 months to get somebody. That's what it's got. I'm not even trying to be cute, because you tell me next time you go to the grocery store if you can find any item in the store that is 3 months past the expiration date and you were able to locate it as a patron. That should be impossible.
Man, he was driving a Lay's truck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He probably, I work at the factory, so I got these. I save these to, if I'm going to do a prank on somebody. Like, if he worked at the Lay's factory, he easily could have had some fresh chips. If, I just want to give out some. They got little sample baggies or whatever. He easily could have got a fresh little baggie of potato chips if he just wanted to do you a solid. I like colored people, and, I want to get his sodium count up a little bit for the day, get him some saturated fat. Okay. No. And I'm going to throw him under this, all of it. All of it. It does not get any better than tacky. And I would even humbly submit, if a black person had done that, I think we would more readily grasp, the cows wouldn't even be necessary. It would just be like, wait a minute, Jamal, did you throw the food on the steps? Nah, I don't even play I'm cool. Get your funky old chips and get we wouldn't even have to get to and they expired, Jamal. We wouldn't even got that far because it was done in such a tacky manner. Just what? I almost stepped on him getting in the truck anyway. Man, whatever. And that's it too. If he had put them in your hand and you had just looked down hey, man, these are expired.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm going to slink out of here. I was just I'll just slip them out of there. And then peel out sticker. Got that, black brother? Bet you can't just eat just one.
Man, because I didn't check it right away. I put it in my truck and I took off. And I was driving and I was like, brother, barbecue chicken. Man, let me check this stuff real quick, man. Straight cows in my head at that time. I'm like, cows going crazy right now. Flipped it over. I was like, never fails. I called my wife. I called my cousin. And I was like, I'm going back. That's it. I'm going back.
It does not get any better than tacky. And that's why I said, I'm real, we've had lots of people, and for workplace racism specifically, where it's been white people on the job, trying to pressure them and cajole them into eating something, something they cooked, or I brought in food specifically, and, oh man, you gotta eat it, I brought in. No, thank you. I'm good. No, even if you're starving, you can get ramen noodles for $1. Really, if it's that bad, even if it's that bad, no, thank you. In the workplace, it could be even if he had been hungry, just what he said. Even if I had been starving, I mess around, eat the chips, then find out, oh dang, these chips expired 3 months ago. Dang, now I got a stomach ache. Man, I didn't get no improvement. Now, what is he supposed to be solving problems without creating new problems? Now I got a new problem.
Man. All bad.
It does not get any better than tacky, sir. Much obliged for sharing. Glad you were able to stay safe. And that's just if we're assuming the worst of it is just these were expired. I'm already Mike Swin. I said when I went to Wisconsin weeks before I left, they had video. This is online. You can check. Went to court and everything. White man. He worked at the state fair. He was putting super glue in his coworker's soda pop. Back to the beverages again, but they got it on video. Him putting soda pop putting super glue in the soda pop. And she was saying, dang, my stomach is twitching. My stomach hurt, man. What's going on here, man? And then they got the video to see, and they went ahead and charged him and everything. But that sort of conduct is so widespread. He could have done anything. Like, he could have figured out a way to open the bag up, seal it back up, and done something else to him or whatever else. Man, for all the other folks listening, too, like, nah, I'm good. Like, in the work, even if it had been at work, if this hadn't been a total stranger, which it sounded like it was, even if he had been in the workplace, and this, I work with, we'll say Chip, just because I work with Chip. We've been working together for 10 years, and Chip said his wife, she makes the best, pound cake or whatever. No thing. We've had folks where you don't have to be rude about it, because sometimes they can be really insistent and, oh, no, you got to have a slice. It's the best thing ever. And they go put it on your desk in the trash, even if you have to smuggle it out. Because we've had some people where they said they had to do that. Like they didn't, maybe it was the CEO or whatever who baked it. Get a napkin. Put it in your pocket. Put it in the trash. Even if you have to wait till you get to the gas station when you drive away. Put it in the trash. No eating. And I'm so serious. Even if I worked with everybody classified as not white, I would be saying the exact same thing. You have not seen their kitchen. You don't know, did they wash their hands? And lots of non-white people, we don't like other non-white people either. So, no, the same rules would apply. No, thank you. You don't have to be nasty or rude about it, but no eating in the workplace. Throw it away if they have to force food on you. And you can add that. I can't even act like, oh man, I can't believe that happened. Yes, I can believe that happened. Like, we got racks of those. Like, now we got another one for 2026. No eating in the workplace. Much obliged to be in Santa Rosa. Live to see another day. And you don't need no chips, no way. If I get lad one in, like, it's always the worst. It'll be like a candy bar. Potato chip. Like, are you serious? In 2026? I just said the Brussels sprouts. It can't be nothing. Oh man, you got me some apples, a mango, some fresh fruit, something that's not gonna kill me. Potato, that's what I need in 2026? I just mentioned the obesity and everything else. That's what we need to be healthy and universal man, universal woman. Lay's chips. Put some cholesterol. I mean, like, get out of here, man. Anyway, hopefully, other folks, maybe that'll be your counter-racist challenge. They try and swangle you in the workplace. No, thank you. Easy one. That should be an easy one. 2 words. No, thank you. Any hoodles, we will do it again tomorrow. 4th installment. Sure. And tomorrow, that's workplace racism as well. Black entrepreneurs, black bookstore owners. Man, I did not know it's going to be so much in terms of COINTELPRO and all the rest of it. But wow, this would be another illustration. Going into business does not solve your problems with racism. It may increase your problems with racist man, racist woman. I guess especially if you're going into business and you're going to be selling books to black people. Ooh-wee, you are really about to get in trouble. Like, I would have not thought that if you had asked me years ago, but wow, selling books to black people about racism, whew, you are going to get in trouble. You want some poisoned potato chips left on your doorstep, start selling books to black people about racism and see what happens. Anyway, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, Black Owned, the revolutionary life of the Black Bookstore. More to come. And then Saturday, as I said, we'll be here, but just not the compensatory call-in. White guest. Cannot wait. Looking forward to it. The weekly catch-up, very important. We'll get back to that. But I mean, hey, white guests studying the problem. So that's what we'll be doing. Normal time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. But just as opposed to the news, we will have a guest in the house. More to come, programs as we move into February, pushing right on through winter of 2026. Sobriety would be best under conditions of white supremacy. We need high-functioning brain computers to solve our problems. Creator, we ask, remind us, stop saying, not all white people are racist. Remind us, stop name-calling people classified as black. Remind us, Dr. Welsing, stop producing throwaway offspring to be raped by Mary Kay, drowned by Susan Smith. White women. It has been time. Replace white supremacy with justice immediately. Cows signing out. Thanks all for tuning in. No taking food from strangers or coworkers on your job.
Nigga, you so brainwashed. I'm a victim, brother. No problem. You're a victim. I'm a victim of 400 years of conditioning. Shut up. The man has programmed my conditioning. Even my conditioning has been conditioned.